Greeting everyone. Following is the interpretation or orally translation of the today Q&A into English. Question number 1. Dear Bante, I would like to report about my meditation experience. Lately, my mind is very restless. When I sit, the mind is thinking here and there. I note thinking. This thought goes away, then next thought comes. It comes constantly like a raging wave. I feel like all of the worries from the past to the future just throw on me one after another. I note the thought. It lasts for some time, then goes away. I do that for a whole hour of noting the wandering mind. I feel like I am fighting with this wandering mind. I try to be aware of the rising and falling of the abdomen, but it is rare that the mind can rest on it because the thought just continuously arises, it goes on, and it disappears. At the end of the sitting, I feel tired and disappointed in myself. These scenarios last for a long time and they make me feel hopeless. The road to liberation is nowhere near, and the cycle of rebirth seems endless. I am afraid of samsara, but I feel depressed about my practice. I know that I don't have any other way because I can feel more and more the meaninglessness of being reborn as a human or any other human. Or any other being. My mind is very chaotic. Thank you for your advice, Bante. With respect and gratitude. The comments from the teacher are: this yogi is practicing. He does have a wandering mind. Thinking does arise, and he or she is aware of the thinking. The Venerable said that as long as the practitioner is aware of the thinking, that is enough. In this scenario, the practitioner is aware of the arising, the process of the thought, and the disappearing of the thought. That is good noting. As long as there is the awareness of the thought, it is fine. The problem is when there is wandering mind and the yogi is not aware of that. That is a problem. But as long as there is the awareness of the thinking, then that is fine. The Venerable suggests that before the sitting, the practitioner should make a determination that for this hour, as long as there are anything that arise in this hour, in this mind and body, I am aware of it. I am aware of the present. So please try to make that determination. And if you are able to aware of the rising and falling, just pay attention to the rising wholeheartedly. Just pay attention closely, meticulously at the sensation of rising and the sensation of falling. Anything that arises through the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind, as long as you are aware of it, you are practicing correctly. The object is not important. It is not important whether it is good or bad, black or white, long, short. The object in here is not important. What is important is the awareness. And please just aware, do not compare, do not analyze, and do not judge. If you think that you are of if you think that you are afraid of samsara and life is meaningless, blah blah blah, it is only thinking. As soon as you are aware of the thinking, just make a mental note of thinking. And if you feel that your mind is very chaotic, mentally make a note of chaotic. So whatever arises, just make a note. As long as you are doing it correctly. It is okay. You are practicing correctly. Just continue. Question number 2. Dear Bante, I am trying to sit and meditate more. I sit 2 to 3 times a day. I am surprised that every time I sit, my dog would come and sit quietly next to me until the sitting session is finished. I did not know that the animals can feel the practice. Can I share the merits to the dog so it would be reborn as a human next life? Thank you very much, Bante. The comments from the Venerable are: after your sitting, you can share merit to all beings. By sharing merit to all beings, your dog is automatically included in there. Your dog loves you very much, so whatever you do, the dog just follow and do with you. The dog has a mind, but it does not has a good memory as human being. It has a wholesome and unwholesome mind. But the animal's memory are not as good as human. So just please share merit to all beings. Question number 3. Dear Bante, some people say that those who practice concentration meditation will have, some people say that those who practice concentration meditation will have concentration, which leads to enlightenment. I think we need to look at this more carefully. In the concentration practice, the mind is calm and concentrated. Therefore, there are no defilements, so one cannot be enlightened. One needs defilements to become enlightened. Enlightenment occurs when the mind is active, not when it is concentrated, because the knowing mind does not work when the mind is concentrated. When the knowing mind is not present, then one cannot see the impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Would you please explain further? Thank you, Bante. The comments from the Venerable are: you need to differentiate. There are 2 types of meditation. One is the concentration meditation, and the other one is insight meditation, which leads to understanding and wisdom. With the concentration meditation, the concentration arises when the mind stays on one object. And because the mind stays on one object, it does not lead to enlightenment. In here, the defilements are only suppressed. They are not eradicated. So for concentration meditation, the concentration is done by having only one object, and this practice does not lead to liberation. It helps to suppress defilements only. It does not eradicate defilements. Whereas the insight meditation, the meditation that leads to understanding and wisdom and liberation. And in this insight meditation, there are many objects. The practitioner can be aware of one object after another continuously. And because of the continuous awareness on different objects, concentration arises. And due to this concentration plus the awareness, wisdom will arise. And with the wisdom, the practitioner understand the impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And this insight meditation will uproot, it will eradicate defilements. This person, the writer, used the word of defilements are bodhi. And the teacher, the venerable, want to make a comment here. When a person uh, observes the defilements and notice and experience that the defilements arise and pass away. So they see the changing. They see that defilements are impermanent. When they see the impermanence, they see change, then they understand what is impermanence. And with the understanding of impermanence, of constant changing, then the practitioner will also understand suffering and no self. So, for the insight meditation, one needs to observe, one needs to experience impermanence. And the impermanence can be of anything. It can be defilements, it can be the mental and the physical phenomena. Question number 4. Dear Bante, someone told me that an artist who arouses the emotion of the audience through his art is creating unwholesome karma because he increases the attachment of the audiences. I still do not understand what is proper art according to dhamma. Is there anything that arouses the attachment of the audiences considered bad karma? My friend is an architect and says that creating beautiful houses arouses the attachment of people. Sometimes I want to create something, but I don't know if I arouse the attachments of people, and therefore I create unwholesome karma. Thank you for your teachings, Bante. I sincerely appreciate your Dharma talks, which are simple, easy to understand and apply. These teachings help me understand more on uh, these teachings help me understand more about this practice. Thank you, Bante. The comments from the teacher are: The Buddhas taught that there are some profession that you need to avoid, and that is try not to sell or not to deal or not to sell human being, meaning that uh, not involved in the business of trading a human being, trading animal, trading meat, trading weapons, trading poisons. One needs to have right livelihood. Right livelihood means you need to avoid the livelihood that involve breaking the five precepts. So, um, whatever profession that you are, just try to do it well and do not be attached to it. If you are an architect, then you can try to build a good house, a nice house, and there is nothing wrong with it. Try not to be attached to it. In the US, when you build a house, there are always the codes that you have to follow. So when you build a house, you need to do it well. You cannot build a house that is not proper to the standard. In regard to your question about art, according to the Dhamma, the teachers say that proper art is living in the present. Living in the present. Um, Proper art is how to keep the morality pure, the practice of concentration, the practice of developing wisdom. Those are proper art. If you wear clean clothes, there is nothing wrong with it. But try not to attach to it. Question number 5. Dear Bante, I noticed that when the idea of the self or the ego arises, then understanding or wisdom is not present, even in the daily life. And the self arises at two places, mind and body. When there is the ego, it wants everything according to its wishes. The negative thinking or picking a fight are the works of the ego and the self. Whatever the mind follows this egoistic mind, then it is all wrong. After I finish a project, physically I feel good, and this good feeling travels from the body to the head, and, and then the mind is not clear anymore. After I experience this, I sold the TV and feel very good and free afterward. Maybe because I carry this ego for a long time and now the ego is dropped, so it feels strange. From time to time, there are memories of the past drama, but they just pass. Thank you, Bante, for your advice. For this question, the comments from the Venerable are, when you mention that after you finish a project, you feel physically happy, and then the uh, the good feeling, it goes to your head, and after that your mind is not clear anymore. The teacher comments that this is a conceit, because there is the comparison between you and someone else. So try to lessen your conceit. Question number 6. Dear Bante, I once read that Freud, a psychologist, said civilization is the product of sexuality, or civilization is the product of greed, hatred, and delusion. In the sutta, the Buddha mentioned about the world of arising and the world of cessation. Is the idea of the world mentioned by the Buddha and Freud the same? When the six internal bases meet with the six external objects, if one does not have mindfulness, then one is sucked or is pulled in to the world of greed, hatred, delusion, suffering, desire, fighting for power, fame, money. The teacher comments, yes, that's correct. And continue with this question. In the sixth sense, if the six senses, if the six internal senses, which are eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind base, encounter the six external objects with a clear and calm mind, then one will see Dhamma and not be pulled into the worldly world. Is that right, Bante? And the teacher say, the venerable say, yes, that is correct. The excuse me. I will repeat this. If the six senses encounter with the six external objects with a clear and calm mind, then one sees Dhamma and not be sucked into the world of greed, hatred, and delusion. Is that right, Bante? Uh, Thank you, Bante, very much, and I wish you good health and peace to all Sangha. The comments from the teacher are, yes, it is correct that when the six internal bases encounter the six external objects with a clear and calm mind, then one will see Dhamma and not be sucked into it. That is correct. And the Buddha told us that we need to have mindfulness and clear comprehension and aware of these six bases. And we should not attach to it. Just awareness with clear comprehension and no attachment. Question number 7. Dear Bante, I live in a world where evil overcomes good, and this awakens people to find a way for liberation. In my life, I have encountered a lot of hardship and misfortunes which caused a lot of suffering. I became very heartbroken. Then I slowly accept the idea that evil overcomes good. One can lose property, loved ones, or one's life, etc., anytime for any reason. The teachers say that, yes, the more that you go deep into the worldly world, then that is what it is. And continue with the question from this practitioner. I feel so helpless that I became discouraged. The desire for the worldly things decreased. I think the mental suffering, the discouragement that I experience is similar to what the monks experience when they experience the impermanence, suffering, and no soul on everything. I thank you for your advice, and I pay respect to you, Bante. The comments from the teacher are, eh, when this person say, I think the mental suffering and the discouragement that I experience is similar to what the monks experience when they experience the impermanent suffering and no soul of everything. The Venerable say yes. Uh, in the worldly life, evil overcomes good. But in the Dhamma world, then wholesome overcomes unwholesome. When you see that everything is impermanent, non self, and suffering, then you will overcome the suffering. So with this, the Venerable will end the today Q&A, and the teachers say that you have many ideas. Please try to practice the insight meditation. Whenever one walks on this path to liberation, one will encounter many difficulties, but you need to have patience to overcome it. So I already answered the questions. If there are anything that you do not understand, please email it and I will try to explain at the next session. So with this, the Bante, the Venerable will end the today Q&A session. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, everyone.